Welcome, everybody, to the Nuggets of Gold podcast and YouTube channel. I am back with Bo, and today we're going to be talking about a 49ers need that I don't think gets talked about too much because the 1 and 2 guys on the depth chart, they're studs.
Stuff.
And that is wide receiver, though. Wide receiver 3 and 4, there's some question marks there for the 49ers. Obviously, at 1 and 2, you got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, two young emerging guys that, Bo, I'm assuming you're big fans of.
Oh yeah, definitely future stars of the league.
No, I agree. I'm a big time Brandon Ayuk believer. I think he's going to be something very, very special. And I think Debo is a great number 2. I think that being with Kyle, you can use him in so many ways. And I think that they really maximize his abilities there. But I do think there's a need at number 3. We were talking about KB and, should we bring him back? Should we not? I like KB. I think Jalen Hurd is someone who is very just it's easy to get excited about him, even though we haven't seen him in his first 2 seasons on the team
Yep.
due to injury. He had a neck injury and then he tore
Back.
his knee.
Yeah,
It was like a neck back. Yeah, not
back. Yeah,
very scary, but he did end up recovering from that and then he tore his knee after that. So really just a bummer to the start of Jalen Hurts' career. But the dude, if you don't know about him, he's 6'4", played running back.
230.
Yeah, looked really good in preseason, and everyone was hyped up about him, and then he went down. So hopefully he's back. Hopefully he's a guy that emerges as a number 3 because I mean he has a huge ceiling. I mean I thought that he had maybe the biggest ceiling. He had a bigger ceiling than Debo. I thought coming out.
Yeah, physically for sure. Yeah, he's super gifted. It would be a great bonus to have Jalen Hurd healthy, man. Like an unexpected bonus, right? At this point, but
It would be one of those things that people don't know about him just because they haven't seen him in the NFL and be like, how did Kyle get this additional weapon? What happened? And everyone would be freaking out like, oh, Jalen Hurd. Now they have
yeah,
another guy there.
yeah, exactly. He was a running back, a talented running back that they transferred to wide receiver, and it was a pretty seamless transition from Tennessee to Baylor. And it would be a blessing from the gods if Jalen Hurd was healthy, because he had a lot of plans for him, right? As far as the motioning him into the backfield, the jet sweep action, all that stuff. Jalen Hurd would have been involved with all that, just like Debo, right? Just like Ayuk would have been a third guy to use like that. So yeah, as far as our wide receiver 3, I personally think we need to upgrade from KB. I love the guy. I think he's a hard worker. I think he's a solid, decent slot guy. But like you were saying, someone like a Rashard Higgins would be an upgrade majorly over Kendrick Bourne. And I feel like the price would be very similar as well. So I think we need to make that move either through free agency or through the draft.
So what about let's not start with Rashard Higgins, but let's start with Kendrick Bourne. So you
Yeah,
brought up Kendrick Bourne. What's your thoughts on him as a player?
I think he's a above average route runner. I think he has decent to average hands. As we know, he has some drop issues in the past, but he was a lot better this year with that. But as far as the reliability on him, because someone with Debo's injury history as well, we may need that 3 to become a 2 potentially. I wouldn't rely on KB to be that guy. So in my opinion, we need to move away from him now that he's a free agent. Uh, the price definitely matters with him, but as far as KB's talent level, I would say he's like a B minus to C plus talent as a receiver. But we could definitely, like, if you look around the league, I think there's 15 to 16 teams that have far superior wide receiver 3s than ours with a Kendrick
Yeah,
Bourne. And I think
yeah,
we have to get on that level, you know?
yeah. No, especially and if this offense can keep growing and whatnot, that's gonna help guys like Debo Samuel. That's gonna help guys like Brandon Ayuk.
Exactly.
And yeah, like the Niners like to run either 2 tight end sets or sets where they have 2 running backs because they
Yep.
have Juice on the field and Kittle, and so a lot of times they only have 2 receivers out there. But also, like you said, as a security spot where it's like, all right, Debo's out this week or
Yeah.
Ayuk's out this week, and of course you don't want injuries to happen, but it's the NFL. Injuries happen all the time. We saw that last year.
Exactly.
And I thought Bourne played all right. I don't think that having Nick Mullins as your quarterback is a bonus.
Yeah.
And in 2019, he had 5 touchdowns. In his second year, Bourne had 4 touchdowns, and last year he had 2. So kind of went down in the touchdown department, but I still think he's a solid player. I think if he's your 4, you're in a much better spot. So
Definitely.
I'm not opposed to bringing him back,
Mhm.
but if he was to get broken off on the open market, you don't need to go after him and match him on that.
No,
With
definitely.
that said, I don't think he's gonna make some crazy amount of money because there are so many talented receivers that are free agents right now
Yeah.
that I don't really know what teams are gonna offer him. So I think there's a solid chance that he's back and then also someone else is brought in. But that's my thoughts on KB.
I mean, yeah, that would I could as a number 4 receiver, then I'm definitely down for that because he is talented enough to be that fourth guy. I just don't see him being that third go-to slot receiver because as far as when we're down behind and we got to spread and we got to throw a lot more, that's when we need that really talented Cole Beasley type, slot receiver, a Curtis Samuel type that could actually like take the pressure off, like you said, off of Debo and Ayuk, free them up for some man one-on-one, and I just feel like KB because like he's a good red zone target. That's his like value as far as his style of receiver. He's a really good red zone target, and I could see that getting him like a 3 year, like 9 to 10 mil contract. Something around that range. And if that's the deal, then I think we should let him go because that's a little overpriced in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I definitely think like for me, anything over 4 million is a little bit too much for like a 2-year deal, maybe. That's
Yeah,
what I like my price would kind of be.
yeah, that's a good.
Um, but also like what's the difference like if you let him walk and you get someone similar in free agency? It
Yep.
depends who that guy is. That's the other aspect of it is that's why wide receiver, I mean, I'll say it first, like I think that Kyle's the best guy to do it. I think
Definitely.
he's and like, oh, he missed on Dante Pettis. Cool. He got better with Debo Samuel and kind of like
Yeah.
overcompensated and got the super physical guy. And then
Yeah.
third year, he got a guy in Brandon Ayuk. I think Brandon Ayuk will be the best of all. Like, I think
Yeah.
he's going to be much better than Debo.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I
but
think
that's not a knock on Debo. I think Debo's still a stud. So like, I mean, I think Ayuk can be a top 10 guy. I really
Ayuk,
can. I really do.
Ayuk reminds me of AJ Green and Julio Jones. So let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
gonna be
super long, super athletic.
unreal hands, unreal vertical, unreal speed, right? And he knows how to use it. Knows how to cut. The small space quickness is insane. The agility is insane. He's got it all in the toolbox. So as far as like Pettis, did Kyle miss though? Because remember that first season with Pettis, we were like, oh man, Kyle stole a good one, right?
Well, he was
So
definitely talented.
that's the thing. Pettis is up here was where he was lacking mentally, and I don't think you could blame Kyle for that, right? It's like you can't see that coming, especially with the rookie year he had, right? So
Yeah,
you're right.
and that's something that maybe Pettis just needed to change of scenery. We'll see how he turns out in New York. I mean,
Yeah,
always wish these guys luck. You don't want them to like fail or anything.
oh
But
for
I
sure.
definitely think it was upstairs. Like he kind of got in his head, and then he
Yep,
got in Kyle's doghouse, and it was kind of
yep.
it was
And you're
unfortunate.
right. Kyle is the best receiver mind because he was a walk-on receiver at Texas, so it's like
So
that's his position.
so then I have a question. So like if you're kind of waiting on KB, is that a guy that you would rather them draft someone in the middle of the like mid rounds, like 3 to 6? And then like add a different free agent? Like what in your mind is like a time where like I guess like where KB is disposable? And not that sounds really like kind of harsh.
No, no.
When are the options better in your mind?
I mean, I'm really high on a lot of receivers that are gonna go second, third, and fourth round around that time. So, in my opinion, I would love to have a Rondell Moore or a Bateman or one of those type guys. If they drop to our second round, it would be a dream because as far as scheme fit with Kyle, they're literally perfect, and they're just so much more talented than KB is. No offense to KB, but he's a hardworking, undrafted type, right? These guys
Yeah.
are blue chip studs, that are coming in like thoroughbreds. And I think with Debo and Ayuk, if we could get that legit blue chip third guy as well, it's just gonna open up the offense to a whole new level, right? And as far as like, I don't know, KB is a good receiver. I like him a lot. He's a good teammate. He's got some leadership qualities to him, but I would definitely take a gamble on a mid-round receiver and move on from him instead of paying him. Because let's remember, it's going to be a rookie deal as well, right?
That
So
that's that's a huge element of that too.
exactly.
Um, But okay, but say we do let KB walk and maybe we draft a guy in that range. Do you like the idea of bringing in Rashad Higgins? I've seen him floated all around 49ers Twitter. He looked pretty good last year. He had, was it 599 yards, four
Uh-huh.
touchdowns. He only started in 6 games, but he did play in 13 of them. But he definitely flashed.
Oh,
And
definitely. Yeah,
he's not very old either. So what's your thoughts on him?
I really like Higgins. I feel like his numbers would have been much higher if he was the starter from day one. What he did was when OBJ went down, he stepped in pretty flawlessly. He had some pretty big games throughout the year against some pretty tough opponents, you know? Like I think it was against Pittsburgh, against like really good teams. He balled out and like took pressure so Juice can have his man one-on-one coverage. But I feel like Higgins would be a great fit. I feel like he would be a major upgrade over KB. I think he's a better route runner. I think he has better hands. I think he's more explosive. So, yeah, I would like Higgins a lot. I think it would be definitely because the price would be decent as well. So the fit would be almost perfect for Kyle. I think we're definitely looking into Higgins, I think. And I think it's a very high possibility it'll happen.
Yeah, no, I really like the idea of bringing in Rashad Higgins. I mean, he's going to be 27, so he'd be older than Ayuk and Debo by quite a bit. But you can have him in there as your 3 or 4. Say you have him, say you have Jalen Hurd, and you take a guy in the 4th round.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a solid 3, 4, 5. Or you have those guys and you have KB. Or I don't really know. I feel like it's more likely that if they sign Higgins that KB would be gone, but
yeah,
there's a lot of routes they could go with this. So it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of bringing him in over KB as well. I think that you're very spot on when you say that he's just overall a better player, but also
yeah,
he could kind of play the same role that KB does.
definitely. Yeah. And like there's a lot of mid-round guys that I would look into, like Tutu Atwell, Seth Williams. Like there's a lot of talented guys that are gonna go later, like a Terrence Marshall from LSU, he's a Jalen Hurd type. He's a big 6'4", 6'3". Can I mean, I just feel like when you look at the rest of the league's wide receiver 3 to 4s, they're a lot better than ours, and we need to catch up. So as far as that, it's time to move on from KB and hopefully upgrade.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Rashad Higgins, definitely a guy on my list.
I
It'll
like
be
Kurt.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see how much he gets on the open market. Like I said before about KB, there's a ton of guys that are out there that need to get paid, and there's not a lot of money going around this year. Like we're gonna see a lot of guys cut. We're gonna see a lot of 1-year deals. Rashad Higgins comes to San Francisco, signs to be the wide receiver 3, balls out on a 1-year deal. That could be a big time breadwinner for him. So I think that it makes sense for him as well.
For
But
sure.
that's about all I got on these guys. Anything else you want to add before we take off, Bo?
Just that I really, really like Curtis Samuel a lot, and I think he's a perfect fit for Shanny's system. He's like a mini Debo to me, so it wouldn't be depending on his price as well. Higgins or Samuel would be beautiful, like a perfect fit. Samuel's like a running back and a receiver, just like Debo. So Kyle would do a lot of fun things with him. So it would be a great fit. Samuel or Higgins, I think, would be the way to go over KB this summer.
Yeah, I like Samuel a lot too. I do think that I feel like Curtis is going to. There's a chance that Curtis could resign, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure, man. There's a lot of things. Like so many people could go places. I feel like someone's going to throw a lot of money at Curtis, and he might kind of price himself out. But I love him as a player. I think he's a spectacular player, and also as a fit too, really tremendous.
yeah,
But I think
you're right.
I think that's I think that's pretty much going to do it for today's episode. Bo, I mean, we had you on yesterday, so I want to say thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having
Always awesome talking 49ers football, but we will be back. I'll be back probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, but thanks everyone for listening. Remember, like if you like the video, subscribe if you want to get some more 49ers content. And if you're listening on Apple, any rating and reviews are very, very helpful. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.